Welcome to the Cherland podcast, where I, Connor Cherland, meet up with a musician, ask what makes them tick, ask them to play me a song, maybe I play a song back. This episode I do. On this episode, we have the wonderful, the special man, Mclaughlin. This guy is one of my first musical friends that I ever made, and really couldn't have done much better. You can't do better than Mclaughlin in terms of just a wonderful, wonderful person to have in your corner. Incredibly talented. He's helped me with the last 3 records that I've put out, which is crazy. We've had a wonderful collaborative relationship for quite a while now. I respect him as a songwriter, and I think that this new album he's coming out with is some of not only the greatest stuff that he's written, but also just like some of the coolest stuff I've heard in a while. And I am proud to present him to you today. Please enjoy. Do you wanna play me a song, and then I can ask you some questions about the rare occasions?
Sure. I'll probably play a new song. We've been working on some new music. Let me think. What should I do?
I thought Sparrow was like super killer.
Oh yeah, I could do that one.
Okay, cool.
I close my eyes and I drift into another life, one where I'm only the sparrow in the window. My wings flutter fast and I see myself inside the glass, pacing and pondering how we fell from happy. My love, she turns her shoulder, scrolls the web with her eyes glazed over, and I have seen it all, I've seen it all, I've seen it all. I fall to the ground, feel this darkness pull me down, and crash in a harrowing plume of smoke and feathers. She wanders over to piece me back together. Sparrow.
That's so good, man.
Thanks, man.
I recently, like today, I did a little deeper of a dive on like the lyrics of your songs, and they're nuts, man. They're like I was reading half-heartedly, and I'm like, these lines are murder. Those.
Oh yeah. Well, that song especially was in my like phase. I have phases, as all musicians do. And that was my worshiping Alex Turner phase from Arctic Monkeys, where it was like more about the sounds of the words and like the way the syllables make percussive motion than the words themselves. So I was there with my thesaurus and like trying to make as much enjammed rhyming as possible and make it all crazy sounding. But I've since moved on from that phase, I think.
So with a song like Sparrow, which is also just like poetry, and then the what's that line that you repeat in the middle of it?
Oh, I have seen it all.
I've seen it all. Like, did you hear a song that did that, and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that"?
I don't know. With that line, yeah, I kind of had the melody already figured out, and I knew I wanted like that section. Like that's the only part of the song which doesn't follow the main chords of the rest of the song, and I wanted it to have this big like building feeling. So it was, those words specifically were like originally just scrap lyrics that I used to just fill the line as I was writing it, and I decided to keep them because they're pretty broad and it made sense in the context of the song.
For a song like Sparrow, is it like, did you start off with a concept, or were you kind of just like making it up as you go along and like building this story, or did you have something in mind?
For that one, I started with basically just noodling on guitar to get the chords, and I really liked the chord change that I had and the melody that I had going with the chord change. And then, so for a long time, I was just kind of mumbling along. And then for Sparrow, I came up with the first verse first. This idea of like, you're looking out the window, thinking about what it's like to be the sparrow. And then in the song, perspective changes, and now you're the sparrow looking at yourself through the window. I thought that idea was really cool. And then I didn't really know where I was going to take it from there. So I had that verse for a really long time and just kept trying different things until I had the rest of the song.
Did any of the other guys touch those lyrics, or are those all you?
Those are all me, yeah. We write lyrics together for lots of our songs. Like, we're all together and we have a funny idea and we'll bounce off each other. But that song, I didn't really show it to anybody until it was pretty much done, which usually I don't do. Usually I have like a scrap of a song idea and I'm like, okay, I've kind of exhausted what I can do and it's time to bring in other people to help bring this to life, you know? For that song, I knew it was like basically a ballad, a song with a guitar and a voice as the core of it. So I pretty much finished the song, and then I sent it to Luke because we had talked about like we really wanted to do a song with strings. So I basically, once I knew that the song was where I want it to be, I recorded it and I sent it to him, and then he mocked up some orchestral arrangement over it.
That he made it. It's so crazy that arrangement, especially on the I've Seen It All part, like the swell that he's doing there too.
Gosh, yeah.
And
His ability just amazes me. Like, it's the same thing with his drumming. I'm not like I understand enough music theory to speak in that language, but when it comes to having him compose something, basically all I have to do is like give him the vibe that I'm looking for. Like, with that song, I knew I wanted like some windy kind of strings that
it feels very Willy Wonka to me.
Yeah, like a kind of a counter melody to the voice, and then like multiple winding things that just kind of meandered. And that's basically all I gave him. I gave him the chords and I gave him that like basic idea. And then he came back with that. It was like, what?
That's so good.
And it's the same with drums. Like, I'll be like, oh, I think I want something that's like, and then he'll be like, oh, you mean like this? And then he'll play something like 10 times better than I could have ever imagined. It's like, oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
It's important that he's a better drummer than you are a beatboxer. That'd be a big issue. With a song that short, how did you know that you were done?
That's a good question. I have this weird fascination with really short songs.
You just you redid your song Goodbye the other day on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Good Night, which is another really short one that I play on ukulele. I think something about like really concise packages is really attractive to me. Like, I grew up listening to the Beatles, and most of their music is under 2 minutes. Most of their songs are under 2 minutes. And my philosophy in general is like, people, like, in reality, you only have so much of people's attention. They can only care so much. So like, use it responsibly and get the story out there quickly. So with that song, it just kind of ended at that 1.5 minute mark, and it just felt right, so I went with that.
Well, I mean, it feels right when you listen to it.
A lot of the other songs on our album are around the 3 minute mark, and they're also like a lot heavier, and this song kind of stands out. So, I was more open to having it stand out in other ways than just the style as well.
Is it going to be a bird themed album? You have the vulture from Control.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. And I was thinking about writing about another bird too recently. Oh, that would be sweet.
Can I play you a song I'm interested in putting on this next album?
Yeah.
I'd
love to hear it.
Did you listen to that Gerilyn demo I sent you?
Yeah.
So Gerilyn is my mom, and it's a song that I'm keeping intentionally off of the internet because I want it has a swear word in it, and my mom is not going to like that her name has the little explicit E next to it. But the song I like it, and I think it's cute, so I think it's worthwhile, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Something's happened to me, and I don't know how it feels to fall in love. Lending focus to every pore and unrelenting trust. I don't have much to give. You're not perfect, but the closer that we get, I know 50 years ain't shit. We're not close to giving in. Keep the towel in your head, Gerilyn. Oh, when something's awful, I will tell you we'll be fine. What I like and knowledge I'll make up for with the faith that you and I don't have much to give. You're not perfect, but the closer that we get, I know 50 years ain't shit. We're not close to giving in. Keep the towel in your hand, Gerilyn. I run to you for I'm the best thing that I know and always will. I pledge my hand as all I am beside you once in the living land until the end. No 50 years ain't shit. We're not close to giving in. Keep the towel in your hand. No 50 years ain't shit. We're not close to giving in. Keep the towel in your hand. Keep the towel in your hand. Keep the towel in your hand, Gerilyn.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, I really like the new music you sent me. That song included. And the song title had me really intrigued because you have a few songs with people's names as the song title. I'm thinking back to Emily, and then now here's Gerilyn, and I didn't know that your mom was named Gerilyn, so.
Yeah, very different people. Like the whole EP is just gonna be love songs. And I think the album art is just gonna be this old picture I have of my mom and dad, and then like out on like a green trail together, and it's like slightly out of focus, but like she's like looking up at him, and he has this mustache, and he's just kind of like looking out into the foreground, and
Nice.
it's really cute.
When is the photo from?
Probably late 80s.
It's amazing the exercise that you go through for every EP so far of consciously deciding to write 40 songs over 40 days. How do you go about that? I mean,
months.
each day writing a song.
6
That's
months.
pretty intense. Oh, 6 months. Oh, okay. So it's not every day, but it's still quite a lot of output.
Yeah, I think like some people do like I'm gonna write 40 songs in 40 days, but I think it makes those days suck so bad that I think it kind of messes with your mind. But I think 40 songs in 6 months is like really doable. So we put out that last album in November. That came out on November 15th. So on November 16th, I had a gig, and then on the 17th started like a 2-week span for me where I was like, these 2 weeks I'm gonna do absolutely nothing. Like, I'm gonna play the maximum amount of video games, I'm gonna go for bike rides, I'm gonna like intentionally do nothing. And then as soon as those 2 weeks ended, I was like in those 2 weeks I'm gonna figure out what comes next, and part of that was like I'm self-employed, so like there's no boss telling me what's next. It's just like what's next is write more songs, and so I set that goal because it's a stretch goal, but it's actually like really doable. You can write 2 per week and get there, which is and they don't have to be good. So like at the beginning, like there's a bunch of songs that are like really full band and really different, like more like I listened to a lot of the Smiths while writing them.
Nice.
But none of those will appear on this because I just didn't think there was enough of them to warrant its own little EP yet.
Right.
But I pretty much just sit down and do like the most simple chord progression, and then just write over it with a different melody, because there are so many good songs written with the same chord progression that I'm just gonna keep trying that chord progression until it cracks. And I'm just eliminating the bad ones. But yeah, the number of bad songs in this batch it's pretty remarkable.
I find that the act of finishing that many songs with lyrics and everything, like that's what impresses me the most. I was sifting through just last night trying to figure out what should we work on to finish out our album, and there's probably about 40 song ideas from the period of maybe about a year that we've been working on it, but all of them are just a musical motif recorded in voice memo, and there's no lyrics. And for me, like, completing lyrics is, I find, to be really difficult. I'm happy with where it gets once I'm done, but the journey getting there is really difficult. So how do you make yourself take that journey so often and so quickly?
Yeah, well, I have to be willing to let the song be bad, because sometimes I get obsessed with a melody, and I want the melody to stick. Like the song "If You Want It," that chorus is actually from a song I wrote previous, and that was the only good part about that song. So I just took that chorus and put it onto this new song. And
Nice.
And sometimes I'll get like the reason why I'll start and try to finish the song is because you don't know how good your lyrics might be, and so I'll just keep writing lyrics, and it's possible that they'll be good at the end, but most of the time like it's just like a good first paragraph and then the rest of it's crap.
So you go back and rewrite?
Sometimes, but most of the time, I just leave it. Like there's so many songs that I've written that are only one paragraph is good. Like there's one line that said, bi-weekly, I've been thinking about my street. If sinks drip down to gutters, does the spider from my shower find its brothers? And
Nice.
I liked it, and I was
That's
like,
cool.
and I was like, cool, and I like put it in, and I was like, ugh, like no idea what to do after that. But it's like I at least know what not to do, which is the song that I've written. If I ever do revisit that, I'll probably just start like maybe in a different key with a different chord progression and fit that in. I did the same thing with Toad Boy. Like that used to be, it was probably like a like really in my mind like more folky. Yeah, and then I found that cool like boom boom, and that's what made that song work for me. But yeah, I try to only revisit when it's like time to steal, like, cause it's annoying to show up to a writing session with yourself and be like, all right, time to try to solve the most difficult puzzle, which is this like half good song that you made.
Right.
Yeah, I always find that really frustrating, and I prefer to just start from scratch. And eventually, if I look back and be like, oh, I remember that was cool, I'll try to reincorporate it.
You can kind of Frankenstein it into what you're currently working on.
Right.
That's really cool. Like I kind of do that with music. I have like a huge collection of riffs that I'm like, maybe one day I'll have a song that uses this riff that I have been noodling for the past 3 years. But yeah, when it comes to lyrics, it's harder from my experience to kind of pull in lyrics from another song and make it work in a new musical context. So that's really cool.
I wouldn't have ever assumed that because your lyrics are so good. Yeah, that's really interesting that you say that. Do you want to play me another new one?
Yeah. Let's see. So there's a few which I can't play because like it won't really work without a full band. I'll play this one. I think so. I didn't send you this file, but you were there when we were kind of working on it. I played you like our rehearsal of this song from a while back, back when we were working on the Toad Boy EP. So this song is done now, and I'll attempt to play it solo.
Take time, kicking it down the line. I don't know where I'm going. Think twice before taking your advice, 'cause I can see your ignorance is showing. You say real estate is what you need, a little place beside the sea. If you don't fall in line, then you're no son of mine. So I swing my shoulder through the thick of it and face tomorrow alone, because you own me and I'm sick of it. But you don't own me no more. Where have we seen this before? The age was gilded, cronuts weren't to blame. Your world is purely transactional. Why don't you look around and think before you blurt out gems like jewelry is what you want, a sterling piece that you can flaunt. If you you don't fall in line, then you're no son of mine. So I swing my shoulder through the thick of it and face tomorrow alone, because you own me and I'm sick of it. But you don't own me no more, no more, no more, no more.
That song's so good, dude.
Thanks, man.
What are you doing, like, musically? What are you doing with the when you switch from the verse to the pre-chorus? The like, jewelry is what.
Oh yeah. It's like 1 to minor 3 chord, but I'm just doing an arpeggio, which is like, okay, so recently, in recent Rare Occasions history, we had a lead guitarist. He decided to move back home. We're all on good terms, but basically I've had to kind of fill his shoes in a certain way of like playing more interesting guitar parts, because I'm usually just strumming, just making noise. So this is our first song that we wrote as a 3-piece, and I decided to put some arpeggios in. So it's just to the minor 4. And then I think in the recording, so there's like 2 arpeggios. So there's that one, and then there's another one on the the opposite side, the opposite ear, that's like, etc.
So good.
Thanks.
It's it's such a good the line where it says, "'Cause you're no son of mine, don't bum 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 bum, Dad." That's I imagine
What?
the whole band looking out and pointing at Dad and being like, "Dad."
It's not about my parents or anybody's parents. It's about like the generational divide and how it relates to like consumerism, and it's about everybody's parents. Yeah. Just like how like you see all these articles of like young people are ruining the housing market. Young people aren't buying diamonds and things like that. And it's like, well, young people have bigger fish to fry, like we have different priorities as a generation, and different situation that we've grown up in. So
right.
It's just, that's what I wanted to write about.
And diamonds don't excite us because we all saw Blood Diamond.
Exactly.
Dang, that sounds so good. I'm excited for that one. What's that one called?
That one's called Alone.
I like that one a lot. Can I play you another one?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I ain't blameless, but a good friend, darling. I'll stay away on Thursday nights when silence often lacks between all the mouths you feed, including me. This is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. and kill the spiders that you hate. Breakfast when you're running late. And this is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, baby, now. And I'll organize the closet, light the candles if you need, order takeout, turn the heater on, make sure your side has sheets, grab a paper and your favorite glass to drink your bourbon neat. You know it's yours when it's too stiff for me. And this is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you. Oh, this is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you, babe. Be now.
Wow. Is that going to be one of your new songs?
I think.
Oh, dude, I love it. That's really nice.
Thank you. It's kind of the same chord progression, so I will have to hide that.
Same as
Gerilyn.
other songs. Oh.
But
Oh yeah.
but I changed one of the chords, like, so I used to play them in the same exact key, so I changed the key a little bit, and then
Right.
the Gerilyn chorus is this the minor 2 to the 5 to the 1 to the 4. So I used to play the song the same exact way, like, this is how I love you, babe. This is how I love you. But instead I just started at the 4 to make it like, this is how, and it sounds like more dominant. So I think we'll go that route, but yeah, hopefully those can be distinct enough.
Coexisting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the repetition of that chorus. I mean, it makes you want to sing along. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it works really well.
Nice. Yeah, I wrote that actually like 3 years ago. That was like one of the early songs, because I wrote it about me and Lane when we first got married, because I was like, man, marriage is nothing like what movies told me it was going to be like. Like, I realized most of my beliefs of things happen from TV shows. And I was like, man, I am having a nice time, but I'm also not like this dominant creature. I like wake up and make us breakfast and coffee, and then we like
read the newspaper.
Yeah, and then we like hang out and watch TV at night. And I'm like, but it, like, not in the we hate it way, like we actually like these shows, so I'm like, this is nice. Yeah, so it has a lot of those elements. Have you written any I'm Going to Marry Deanna songs?
Well, I mean, we've been dating for a really long time, so there's a whole library of those songs in our discography going back a long time. Say Half-Heartedly is probably like the most important song in our relationship, Deanna and I. So, I mean, I tend to shy away from being too autobiographical with lyrics. I find that in general, my life probably isn't interesting enough to make compelling music with as source material. But that song, I don't know if you call it a bridge in Half-Heartedly, is talking about We set our glasses on the chair and blushed at the thought of how we must have stared for weeks and weeks with curtains drawn and our faces pressed till my vision had gone, and I pulled her closer into me, for there's no sense in loving half-heartedly. It's about, well, at that time of my life was when I first realized that I needed glasses because I lost, my vision wasn't good anymore. And that was the same time when Deanna and I had first started dating, and the bridge is about how like we've been just staring at each other with our faces close for so long that I lost my vision. Of course, that's not like actually what happened, but
That is what the doctor told me was the reason I lost my vision.
I'm just, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That song was important for our relationship when we first started dating, too. So.
Man, we're at about an hour. Do you want to play one last one?
Sure. Yeah. What should I play? I keep playing new songs. I think I want to keep playing new songs.
Great.
We put this song out in March, right before the pandemic started.
Will you go out of your way to be kind?
Oh, you already know.
Would you leave a better place behind? Sound on your old friend of mine, said it right. Okay, go for it.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna play. And I'm gonna kick in the distortion for it.
Will you go out of your way to be kind? And will you leave a better place behind? Will you drop that old friend of mine? Set it right, set it right. Do you go dancing out in the rain? And do you sing your songs with no shame? Do you remember the bus driver's name? Set it right, set it right. Yeah, you know what you gotta do, when the sound isn't cutting through. Yeah, you know what you gotta do. You gotta live on the ground, you gotta give them the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what you gotta do, when the sound isn't cutting through. Don't wait for Alan Sean Feinstein to tell you what to do. Yeah, you know what you gotta do, when the sound isn't cutting through. Yeah, you know what you gotta do. You gotta live on the ground, you gotta give them the truth. Will you go out of your way to be kind? And will you leave a better place behind? Will you drop that old friend of mine? Set it right, set it right, set it right, set it right.
Thank you.
Well done, dude.
It's not quite the same without the boys backing me up on the harmonies, but it's a fun one.
No, I like it. The solo is nice.
Ooh.
You should always play the solo when you are solo, because it's incredibly endearing. People will like it.
It's like, yeah, there's nothing else going on except for these. We used to, cause like I said, I'm new to this whole like playing notes on guitar thing. I used to be just rhythm. So when we first played this song live, I would not even attempt a solo. I would just do that bend. And we like dance around as goofy as we can while we do that. But now I'm trying to actually learn the solo well enough to play it, and this is good practice because it was not quite there. But we're getting there. It's been good for me as a guitarist because I never really tried to learn. I mean, keyboard's my first instrument, and I just like the guitar because it makes noise, you know, and that's what I like doing as a rhythm guitarist. But I kind of let my musicianship atrophy a little bit on this instrument, so it's been good to try and improve.
It's been really interesting watching your band since Peter left, because I feel like everybody stepped up to fill that gap in like such an intense way. And so like, because Peter used to do that and the harmonies.
Yeah.
And now the boys do the harmonies, and Jeremy will sometimes do the rhythm parts on the bass to like cover you while you do stuff like that. And I just think it's really cool because it shows like how like creativity comes from some sort of adversity or discomfort, or like you only have so many things, so you have to make it work. And I feel like the stuff that you're about to put out is going to be a direct result of
totally different from the previous stuff.
Yeah, no, I really do.
Yeah, I feel like when we were a 4-piece, like all 4 of us are huge music nerds.
Right.
And we were obsessed with the idea of like arranging our way into a good song. So like if the 2 guitar parts like hock it together in a way that's like really interesting, or if the overall arrangement is interesting, then it'll be a good song. And I think losing the ability to even do that made us reckon with the fact, well, maybe the song itself has to be the driving factor. And also at that time we were doing a lot of like acoustic gigs because we just didn't have the ability to play full band. Right. Like we had to write new material to do it as a 3-piece. So we were playing kind of stripped down, and I think that also forced us to like focus on the core elements of the song as opposed to like the arrangement.
Right.
So that's been our growth for sure.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, these songs are quite, they're hits, man. There was one other song that you sent me. It started with an S.
Stay.
Stay. That one.
Yeah.
That one's crazy too. I thought that was for sure my favorite of that bunch. And Sparrow was also my favorite of that bunch. But it was like, I'm really pumped. Dope. Cool. Well, I'm gonna get some dinner.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Cool.
It's really so great to talk to you.
Yeah.
I might go skate in my driveway because I've been skipping that the past few days. Maybe I'll do that.
Well, good to see you. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. Talk to you
Sick.
later.
Talk to you soon. Bye.